refrain from personal attacks or from addressing individual employees or citizens. Comment should also be limited to one topic. Detailed information about the public comment policy is available upon request. First, I have Mary Jo.
I would like to make the request for a copy of the Harrison County Employee Policy and Procedure Manual and a copy of the Harrison County Employee Job Descriptions. Last week I was told that there was not job descriptions. I'd like that to be provided. It sounded like they are available based on the conversation this morning to me. Can that request be made?
It can. I believe there's a process. Megan, do you know anything about the process?
I can get you a copy of the handbook and my employees' job descriptions, but you would probably need to request job descriptions from each department.
Can the Board of Supervisors request those and have them provided for me at the next meeting?
It's up to the chairman.
I don't know if we can have them available at the next meeting.
If they have to have them for safety, they should already have them.
But typically, when there's a public information request, that cost is associated to the person requesting it.
That's fine. I know it's 25 cents a copy, is that correct? Okay, I'd like a copy of those items.
So typically that's done in writing, and then the cost that the person is willing to undertake is also documented in
Do
writing.
you have the form for that available?
It would just be an informal process that you would submit to the clerk.
I will attach it with my copy that I'm sending to everyone that was copied on the agenda then.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kurt Nelson. Kurt still here?
Yes. Kurt Nelson. I just had a couple things on, I know it was voted on, but I wanted to just bring it up on the trail. Using that road, so it could have been the difference between life and death for someone having a heart attack, etc. It is unheard of anymore for one entrance in and out of a large residential area such as Melody Oaks. Majority of the people living up through Melody Oaks are up there in their age. A few of them are on pacemakers, they have stents, and a lot of them have, a couple of them carry oxygen also. In case of medical emergency, that road being open could have been the difference, again, between life and death for one of these residents. Fire season is here, and Melody Oaks is surrounded by dry timber and vegetation. That portion of the road being open would and could have saved a life for someone, and that is a guarantee that it could have done this. Brian, I would like to thank you for putting the safety of people in your decision on this vote. And unlike Tony and Rebecca, people voted you three in on what you campaigned on. People say a lot of things to get voted in, don't they? To friends and family.
Kurt, I'll remind you that the assistant board as a whole, not individuals.
I'm not mentioning any more names. A couple of you voted on supporting the elderly. That must have been all talk also, since Melody Oaks is so full of elderly people, a lot of them handicapped. Thank you.
Is Diane still here? Brad?
Good morning. My name is Brad Doyle, 2459 Mulligan Trail, Logan, Iowa. Lifelong Nebraskan until 5 years ago. Recently moved into Logan address just this past. Prior was in Pisgah area. My understanding is, because I've heard 2025 and 2026 as far as the budget levy is concerned, where are we at? What are we talking about? 26?
The budget we just completed,
Mm-hmm.
as far as levy rates,
We are 3.5 on the general basic.
No, which, I just wanna know what year.
2026.
Fiscal year 26.
Okay. All right, well, my purpose of being here today is I believe the board has violated the public meeting laws as they pertain to the proposed tax levy increase, and here's why. I did an anecdotal poll of all my neighbors in my neighborhood, some people in Missouri Valley and some people that live north of Missouri Valley, and nobody was aware of this. They had no idea that the mill levy was being increased, that there was a property tax increase. They all had received the valuations that just went out, I believe, last week, or they were received last week, but they had no notice or understanding of this levy increase. The posted meeting minutes from March 27th were inaccurate and did not contain the proposed levy increase. There has been no mention of what that, the first I heard of that was this morning, an actual number. The uploaded meeting minutes, and I saw them in your hands from different meetings, and I've got some copies here, have a draft watermark. We have the county attorney sitting here. A draft has no legal force. It's exactly that. It's a draft. And that's what's been uploaded to the county's website. It gives the appearance that that is the final meeting minutes. A reasonable person would assume. My understanding, this county budget for 2025, and that's what I thought we were talking about, I'm hearing it's 26. So does the 2025 budget, does that include salaries and other budget items?
From previous budget sessions, yes.
Okay,
So that's what we're working on right now.
okay. The statement, which I did finally figure out what was going on, because I know the arguments are gonna be coming. The statement is a lump sum. It's not clearly defined to a reasonable person. And because it's tax season, a lot of documents are coming in for people getting ready to prepare the taxes. And unless you go line by line and read this, because the school board example was on here as well, it was not clear. Also, and you just said that the budget includes other things, correct? So the statement only indicates workman's comp insurance, property insurance, and health insurance. I'm gonna assume the excuse is, well, that was advertised. Well, if you go,
Brad, I gotta stop you. We have to.
okay, well, then I wanna be on the agenda for the next meeting, because there's a lot more here.
Sure.
When is the 1 o'clock meeting about?
The 1 o'clock is the assessors conference.
And what's that, what is that?
That is the
Assessors
supervisors, the mayors, and the school boards.
Is that open to the public?
Absolutely. And it's
Okay.
at the engineer's office.
So a reasonable person would assume that's the notification for the 1 o'clock meeting. It gives no detail as to what that meeting's about. A reasonable person would assume.
Yeah, I look downstairs, they post those things, so.
That gives you an indication of what the context, the agenda, anything. So I will be back at the next meeting to go further into this, because again, I believe the proper notification did not go out to the public about the levy increase.
Well, that thing there too, I don't put any stock in that thing, that is, that notice they send out, that's a state required notice.
Understand,
I just,
I understand, but when the argument comes back, well, we did what the state requirement.
Let's keep moving. If you want to talk to him afterwards.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Michelle.
My comment is, I'm not sure if you have a timeline of when you do the budget, but if you do not, I would recommend that you get one, only because it will help with some of these things that you guys discussed last week, this week. When you talk to whoever, when you start the process, and I think that December is probably when you need to talk to your directors, and they need to think about what they're gonna do in January, not start the process in January. Having been a director and just know how the process works, I know how it works, and it's a timely thing, and you need to know, okay, when do I need to talk to whoever? When do I need to have things set in place? Just like it talked about insurance today, that's way too late. You can't do something when there's just a few weeks left to do something. So you need to have things in a timeline. Okay, what does need to be done when? When do I need to make sure if there's gonna be anything such as insurance, or letting people know about a levy increase. These things need to be in your timeline and let people know about it, because I think then these meetings might go a little smoother, and there might not be as much frustration. So that was my comment on that. Sorry, I thought I had one other one, but I just think that there is a lot of frustration, it seems like, in this room a lot of times, and I think that it boils back to communication. You know, as much as you can get out there, let people know, would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sheila.
I just want to say that my budget's been brought to light on 2 different meetings. My tax ask is a negative $7,200 in comparison to other departments. I have thick skin, and I have thick skin for everybody. So I'm here to tell you that my budget went lower than 2%. I reworked a particular budget, and that budget went up. Nothing's been said about that department. I am not a budget expert, but I make sure that in my office, it is debits and credits equal. That's my job. My job is to collect the taxes, and I do it. My budget is set the way it is set because that's what I need to do to operate my office. I need the staff that I have to operate in my office. I've never had any complaints about that. People ruffle the feathers about different things about appointments, but it works. I coincide with the state. My budget has been cut lower than 2%, and that $1,000 for postage was not added after the fact. It was already in there. So I made no changes to my budget after you guys told me to reduce it 2%, which I left it lower than 2%. I think there needs to be more education and not assumptions. Just because you think you know what happens in the office doesn't mean that's really what happens. Assumptions get you nowhere. I have been yelled at many occasions and told that I don't have a real job. It is a real job. And anybody who works for the county knows they have a real job. I will defend it to the end. Thank you.
That concludes what's going on here.
I just want to thank John for being here. It's a lot of time out of your day, and appreciate it.
How many days you got left with us?
I don't know, 60, 35, I don't know.
Well, hopefully you find us a replacement, so.
Need to work on it.
And I'd like to make a comment first. Yes, I added the $2,000 mileage back into my, when I said I would take it out for the sheriff's department, I added it back in. I'm allowed, just so you know, we are allowed $2,000 total. We can only claim meetings that we're required to be at, not meetings that I go to that I'm not required to be there, but I'm there because I serve the public. I don't serve the people at this desk, only in their public capacity I do. So I go to meetings and training as a supervisor. We get $39,000 is our wage. That's public knowledge. Not ashamed of that. I don't get paid to drive my vehicle. I don't get paid for any of the wear and tear. I go to a lot more meetings than I can only count the ones that I can basically prove that I was at. The ones at the courthouse and the ones at the different board meetings that I'm required to go to. So I think $2,000 is not too much to ask. And if they want to give it up, that's fine. I didn't do this job because of the money, but I also am not going to give up when there are other people that aren't giving up their mileage. And the other thing that people don't realize is we use our personal cell phones. We're not compensated a monthly compensation like some departments are for using their cell phones. We do not get a laptop. There are counties that get a laptop. City councils, I was at Dunlap City Council meeting last night. They have a little iPad. Because I have to have we have to have email. So we have to be able to receive email. My computer at home is dying. It's slower than the Blue Blaze. I have trouble getting my emails to go out. I'm not asking the county to buy me a laptop or even an iPad. I'd love to have a little iPad, but I'm not asking the county to buy me an iPad. I print stuff off my own printer. Never asked for paper, never asked for ink, never asked for a printer. There are a lot of things that we do as county supervisors because we don't have an office. And I'm happy to serve the people. I took this job to serve the people. And so I think that asking for $2,000 for mileage isn't too much. And we have not taken a raise. And these gentlemen, I don't think I need a raise. I just started the job, so why would I need a raise? But these guys haven't taken a raise. I believe the supervisors haven't taken a raise for 4 years. And you don't hear them screaming. So I think the people need to lay off the supervisors, all of us, as far as we can take a little bit of that money. And I have to it's not like I get it if I don't go somewhere. I only get it if I actually go places. It's not like I'm asking for $2,000 just because I want $2,000. So I'm not taking it because I need the $2,000. It's the principle of the thing. And I also would say, if I was a man sitting behind this desk, I guarantee you that wouldn't be going on. Because you all know, women tend to be more emotional. Women tend to show. Men can be more poker face. Thank you.
Well,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Good suggestion, Michelle.